So today's workshop, Fiscally Fit and Loving It, will present a high-level overview of one strategy that you can use to eliminate debt. If you are new to the Debt-Free Divas, we help men and women regain control of their finances by learning to operate on a household budget, developing a plan to eliminate your consumer debt, and build an emergency savings fund. I don't want to keep you too long, so we'll go ahead and get started. Let me begin by just saying I want to apologize to our male participants. The Divas definitely work with men and women. However, this particular workshop was developed originally for a women's conference, so although the information is definitely relevant to everybody because debt is an equal opportunity problem, it knows no gender, no socioeconomic background, educational level, everybody has the potential to be bothered by debt, and everybody has the potential to overcome debt. However, this workshop does use references or images that are women specific, but I think the guys, you just hang with us. I think you'll be able to appreciate the information, so forgive me for that. I am, by the way, working on a gender-neutral version of this presentation, so I'll get that out to everybody just as soon as it's available. Okay. So I want you guys to go ahead and just answer out loud. We're looking at this gorgeous house. When you look at pictures like this, what does this represent to you? What do you think about when you see an image such as the one I have here on the screen, and hopefully that you're seeing right now? What do you think about? Go ahead and say it out loud. Even though I won't be able to hear you, but I want you to just kind of speak that out. For me, I think about the American dream. 2.3 children, the white picket fence, maybe a couple of cars in the garage, yard work on Saturdays. This is what I think about. Now, the American dream represents something different to everybody, okay? But I think many of us have the desire to achieve that American dream. What would you do? Maybe your American dream deals with completing a degree. Maybe you want to start a business. Or maybe you'd like to support some charitable organizations. Or maybe it is just to purchase your very first and very own home. We may even look like we're living the American dream on the outside, but too many of us are drowning in debt, either preventing us from actually achieving our dream, or it definitely turns that dream into a nightmare. So let's pull up the shades a little bit. Okay, look behind the scenes of that American dream. But before we do, I want to kind of share a couple of things with you. 80% of divorcing couples blame money fights and 80% of American couples blame their divorce on money fights and money problems. 60% of people say that they would prefer to use a budget, but less than 1/3 actually do. And again, this was a very women-centered event, but I found this interesting. The average net worth for the single African-American woman in this country, of course, is $100. So basically, what does that mean? Net worth, everything you own, so houses, other assets, money, period, minus everything that you owe, all of your debt. If you take those two numbers and subtract them, for the average African-American woman in this country, it's $100. I think it's like $120 for Hispanic women. So, and the numbers are pretty dismal when you look at Americans in general, but we can do better. So what does that leave us with? A country where more than half of us are drowning in debt in this country. Many of us are doing the best that we can, but I feel like that when you know better, you can do better. And so ultimately, a financial plan like some of those statistics that I just mentioned leaves us trapped. And I like this image about the snare, because that's what we are when we're in debt. We are trapped by debt. But no despair. So the divas definitely want to bring a message of hope. We don't want to leave you with this on this note of doom and gloom. There's definitely a brighter day coming. So let's go back to talking about how we can get on our American dream. The Debt-Free Divas definitely want to help you learn to manage your money. We want to help you learn strategies to eliminate debt. While there are multiple ways to achieve this goal, you can definitely have success with the process that we're going to talk about today, which is the debt snowball. Now, it's one way to skin a cat. If this doesn't work for you, or you feel like you need something a little more challenging or something that works a little bit more with your particular lifestyle, find something. But you want to make a plan for eliminating debt and stick to it. And of course, we want you to build savings. Now, savings is the one avenue that you're going to have in your arsenal to fight against unexpected things that are going to drag you back into debt. Your car breaks down, you lose your job, a tree falls through the roof of your house. No joke. This has happened to one of our debt-free divas. She had a tree fall on the roof of her house to create a natural skylight. Who plans for things like that to happen? But nobody does. But this is why we want you to have savings, so that when those type of things happen, yeah, you may have insurance, but you have the money set aside to pay the deductible for your homeowner's insurance, so that you don't have to depend on credit cards, which are going to dig you further and further into debt. Ultimately, we want you to dream big. So whatever that American dream is that represents for you, when you're out of debt, when you have your savings in place, when you're operating on a household budget each month, every month, you can start to work on things that you are actually specifically put here for. And I'm sure we weren't put here to service our creditors' debt. All right, so let's jump back into pulling the blinds back on the debt that many of us are struggling with, and we're going to take a peek inside here. As we peek inside, we land in this closet, and this was really apropos for Money Smart Week, because we were working on a challenge called Shop in Your Closet. Hopefully you guys had a chance to contribute or at least be inspired by that, and I'll be posting some of the entries for our Shop Your Closet Challenge. Definitely would love you to vote on it and help each one of these individuals win some good cash and prizes and just have a little fun with it. But and again, that was sponsored by our new friends, the Shop Your Closet Project. So when you think about a closet, you think about this is a place where you are going to prepare for the world, right? You get ready. This is a place where you are kind of preparing to deal with your physical day. Well, we want to extend that metaphor to taking care of your financial preparation. So let's look at some of the things that we have in our closet on the island here. Ladies tend to keep their money in what? Your wallet. Right? So just like you keep your money physically in your wallet, you want to use a budget to financially manage the money that you have, so that you're managing those expenditures in the best way. You are using the resources that you have most efficiently. You are not being enticed by impulse spending and kind of the whims of whatever's happening in that day, and so your budget is going to help you do that. So we teach this concept of the ABCs of budgeting. When I account for all of your income, okay, get this down any way you can, whether it's on paper, some people just like to write it out, whether it's using like Excel spreadsheets, whether you're tracking with some type of smartphone app, you're using online sources, your bank or credit union might have budgeting resources for you. Whatever you use, you want to account for all of your income. Okay, that's A. Be specific about all of the expenses. You need to know, what am I spending on my utilities? What am I spending on my blue money? What am I spending on children's clothes? What am I spending on groceries? Everything that you're spending on, you should have an area or a line item on your budget. to account for those things, okay? And then you want to commit to doing your budget every month. These are the items, these are basically the high-level steps that are going to help put you on a good footing for managing your finances. And if you need some help, go to our website. It's debtfreedivas.org. There's a fantastic 30-day budget challenge. It was created by the Debt Free Squad. We have a link to it on our website. They have 4 weeks worth of great videos, challenges, resources, downloadable resources for you to go through the steps. We did this as a group, but trust me, you can start today on this 30-day budget challenge, building your financial muscle, your budgeting discipline, and it might take you a few months to get used to it. That's okay. Get started today, do the best you can, and then each month you'll get a little bit better. So once you have your budget in place, we like to talk about your starter emergency fund. So just like every fashion-forward person, fashion-forward lady will have the little black dress in your closet for emergencies. You know, some after-work mixer comes up, weekend birthday party, something like that comes to your attention that you weren't expecting. You have the little black dress. It's perfect. So just like we have our little black dress in our closet, we also need to have our Mad Money Fund in our arsenal. So your Mad Money Fund is just your starter emergency fund. That's what you're going to put together, $1,000 at a minimum. That's going to hopefully, as you walk through your process of getting out of debt, that's going to help you, again, not have to rely on credit cards when those little irritating things pop up. Anything from a flat tire or a medical bill that you weren't expecting. You know, these type of things will help you. The Mad Money Fund will help you kind of cover, hopefully, most of these things. Not everything. 90% of the things that pop up, you'll be able. And if you're uncomfortable with that, think about the emergencies not, oh, there was a great sale at Neiman Marcus. Okay, the emergencies that you've had to deal with over the past month. Would $1,000 have covered it? Okay, so if you don't have $1,000, first thing you're going to do is definitely do your budget. That's the best way to give yourself a raise without getting a second job, because you never know how much money you actually spend without thinking about it. So you can actually start to rein in some of those like unplanned expenses, run into the vending machine, or your multiple trips to your local coffee house, or those type of things are easy ways to make cutbacks that don't really affect your lifestyle so much, but can actually add up significantly to the bottom line in terms of putting money towards building up your Mad Money Fund. You might also think about selling some things. Okay, what do you have around the house that you're no longer using? Could you put it on eBay? Could you sell it on Craigslist? Could you have a garage sale? That helps to clean out the clutter, as well as padding your Mad Money Fund. So the other thing I want you to do is I want you to put this money somewhere that you have limited access, whether that is a online bank account without debit card or check writing access, someplace that you're not going to be able to get to too quickly. However, you definitely want to keep it liquid so that you can get to it in the event that you need it. All right, let's talk about the work. Since I'm restarting my exercise program, joined with a running club, and I'm trying to really kind of kick this weight loss program up a notch. I use the tennis shoe as the example for the work that actually gets done where you are trying to get out of debt. And in this case, this is our debt snowball. So your debt snowball, you want to do this. You want to list your debts from smallest to largest, and then you want to pay minimums on all debt except the smallest. Now you've done your budget, so you should know exactly what debts you have, what the minimums are, and what you have extra to pay towards that debt. Okay, you want to pay off everything you can to pay off the smallest debt. Now, if you've done your budget, you've done your reductions, you've cut all the fat you can, and you still don't have anything extra to pay towards your debts, and you might want to think about some multiple streams of income. Can you get a second job, or do you have some skills or talents that you could offer for a small fee to generate some additional income. There's a new, not a new, but a recent um, member of our community just mentioned to me something that was so simple but so fantastic. She's tutoring, and she was able to pick up about 9 clients, I believe, if I have that number right, and she's pulling in an extra $1,000 a month just tutoring in the evenings and on the weekends, pulling in $1,000 extra per month in addition to her day job, and she's using that to accelerate her debt snowball. So think about, try to think outside the box. I'm not saying to go start a business and sink a lot of money that you don't have into some new venture, but what can you do with the time that you have and with the skill set that you have already? It doesn't require an initial financial investment to pull in some extra money until you can get your debt paid off. And so then you want to do this process on every debt from smallest to largest until you have completed. And that's the concept of debt snowball, that your money that you have to pay towards your smallest debt starts to get larger and larger and larger until you're just really rocking and rolling through that debt. And finally, we have what we call the girlfriend. Now, your girlfriend may be a hat, might be a scarf, might be some sunglasses, but this is what you have to throw on. And when there is an emergency and you're just not quite ready to grace the world with your presence. So in the same vein, making light, but in the same vein, you want your emergency fund in place. Once you've completed that debt snowball, you will find that your ability to put away 6 months worth of expenses will just be a little bit easier, because now everything you've been taking to pay towards that debt snowball, you can now take that pay towards yourself, okay? So you put those 6 months worth of expenses in the bank, that same less than easily accessible bank account that you have for your Mad Money Fund, and then you can really start to appreciate your condition of debt freedom. So once we have these things in place, fully funded emergency fund, you're working now from a manageable household budget, and you have $0 in consumer debt. And let me just stick here for a second. We focus, as the Debt-Free Divas, we focus on what we call consumer debt. So pretty much everything up to, not including the mortgage, those things like credit cards, leases and car loans, student loans. And again, with student loans, we really focus on student loans that are less than twice your annual income. So if you're lucky enough to have a significant student loan debt, we want you to focus on everything else and kind of keep that student loan in the background with your mortgage, because those are some things, once you have your emergency fund in place, that you're going to be able to tackle with a little bit more confidence once all of your consumer debt has been retired. Okay, so once you have these things in place, then you can really start to think about and start to act on living your American dream. So hopefully that's about all that I have here for today. I know this was quick. I know this was a kind of a very high-level overview of what we like to talk about, but I really just wanted to spark your interest and allow you to understand that there is a very simple way to attack a range of debt levels. My husband and I were able to reduce $107,000 in consumer debt, and that including our mortgage, but reduce $107,000 worth of debt from down to zero. It took us 7 years to do so. Because I go through this pretty quickly and we talk about this in kind of simple terms, I don't mean to imply that this is a simple process, but I do mean to encourage you that this is doable. And once you've been able to accomplish that, you can turn your attention and your interest onto things that are in line with your passion, okay? Maybe you wouldn't continue to work the same type of job you would if you didn't have so much debt. You might, but maybe you would pursue some other creative avenues. Maybe you'd like to work in the nonprofit arena, but the salary offerings are not such that you could sustain your current level of debt with a lower salary. So again, debt freedom just gives you options, and we want you to be able to exercise those options in while you're able and while you're in the best position possible to pay off debt and to focus on that. You might have to cut your lifestyle significantly for a reduced amount of time. I love to travel. I had to significantly reduce the amount of traveling that I did so that I could eventually get to the point where I can really travel the way I want to now. There's a number of things that debt freedom opens up for you, but you can't necessarily take advantage of those until you reduce and eliminate that consumer debt. So that's what we as the Debt-Free Divas definitely want to help you do. Got to get off the line here, but want to make sure that you all have our contact information. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. You can definitely read our blogs. We update that regularly, and you can also get a copy of our newest book, Give Yourself a Raise in 21 Days. It's on our website, debtfreedivas.org, and most importantly, it's free. It's all about tips for helping you maximize the cash that you have now so that you can accelerate your debt snowball and speed up the process of reaching your debt-free dreams. So thanks for your time. I appreciate it. You can also join us every Thursday on Blog Talk Radio for our Midday Money Show, where we continue the conversation about everything as it relates to your finances. So join us on our various social media outlets, and we'll be looking forward to doing more of these webinars and keeping you guys motivated to reach your debt-free dreams. Until our next one, you guys have a great money week.